of owning a cafe and other heroic deeds by Beware the Tristero. Chapter 136. The Wedding. Part 2. Driving through the quiet suburban roads in the cooling evening air was a magical experience.
There's a wonderful tea house just down there that Lizzie wants to treat me, John, and the girls to. Oh, and that road takes you down to the coast. I think Namori, Yoko, Tomoko, and Rumi will love it down there, don't you?
He could see why the man he loved had fallen in love with this island. It was filled with old-world charm and nostalgia. The locals dressed more traditionally, and yet they weren't short of the mod cons most people couldn't live without, and the air was fresh and sweet towards the seemingly endless forests, and cool, slightly salty when he faced the ocean even from this distance. Wildlife was thriving alongside the understated sprawl of humanity's influence, and the sky held the same azure blue of his partner's eyes. Yes.
I can't wait to take you on hiking through the nature trails on Sunday, you know. Nana and I, we had a special tree here, and I'd love to introduce everyone to it, you and Tomra especially.
When they retired, he couldn't think of any better place for them to live. He was pretty sure the islanders and seasonal tourists would enjoy having a cat cafe to frequent, and Toshinori would probably be more than content to serve Yakushima as a park ranger for the UNESCO World Heritage Site, wouldn't he? You could see him even as an older man jogging around the island in one of those cute ranger's outfits, and since they were only an hour or two away from Tokyo and Musudafu, their friends and family would be able to visit them here, wouldn't they? He should imagine that the traditional festivals on this island were wonderful, and it'd be good for Tsuyu, her family, and Spinner, with his nut, to have to freeze when they celebrated Christmas. Wouldn't it?
You okay there, kitten?
Juggling the arms that he'd locked around the other's middle, giving him a gentle squeeze, he nuzzled his head into the number one's warm back and felt his grin stretch when his lover shuddered a little.
I'm great,
he called back fondly.
Although, just enjoying being with you, like this, well,
he offered.
It makes me feel pretty damn lucky, you know.
Arriving at the onsen, two valets more than happily took the bike off their hands, whilst three more attendants welcomed them inside. The young man reminded him of his own words when they got a hold of a new game to enjoy, as they hurriedly whispered about how cool the cruiser was and how awesome it'd be to ride it. He was sure that such a thing could be arranged discreetly, because all of the staff were under contract not to gossip, verbally or otherwise, about this long weekend and its events. However, from the elation he saw on their young faces, he had a sneaking suspicion that some of the teens on this laid-back island were going to have a field day over the goings-on here in this beautiful, traditionally wood-fronted onsen, so artfully surrounded by expertly cropped chrysanthemum bushes, swaths of bamboo, and rockery-esque water features. It was gorgeous. Your bags have already been taken to your room, Yagi-sama, and the banquet is almost ready to be served, the deftly poised officious manager reported as her sack-covered feet padded down the highly polished bamboo flooring in her dark, plainly patterned yet flawlessly wrapped kimono. Should we expect you at the banquet hall presently? She asked while slanting a Natsukoi look from the number one to him. She clearly knew who she was better off asking. He was only surprised that Toshinori wasn't insisting on carrying him over every threshold they came across. The adorable idiot.
We'll be there in 5 minutes. Thank you, Itori-san,
he replied through a fluster whilst they wandered down the wide tapia-colored corridors accented by expensive, perfectly hung, decorative kanji scrolls.
Thank you very much for your help and discretion.
He tried to smile whilst his lover laughed, snorted into his hand, and tried not to look devious as the reserved woman walking at their side stiffened, but bowed nonetheless in gratitude.
We're very happy to be here.
Not grumbling.
Are you not embarrassing me? Get it, come on, you know that I'm only teasing.
And his lover, as they changed into the admittedly soft, gorgeous, muted chocolate-colored yukata decorated by bamboo leaves, Shouta allowed him another deep kiss before he pulled him out of their room. Their room that did have its own private hot spring. Their room that did have a sumptuous futon with silk sheets, plush pillows, and a gossamer canopy. Their room that did have a few more surprises, including a table set up with rabbit and cat plush toys, fragrant bouquets, and at least 10 boxes of his favorite salty licorice. He may have kissed the snickering monster he loved so much back when he saw all of that. He wondered with a secret grin as they made their way to the hall a pair of attendants were diligently leading them to how his partner would react when he knew that he'd been given permission to use the resort's kitchen to bake their wedding cake tomorrow. Or that Atsuhiro had a selection of special muffins compressed. Special muffins that he'd instructed the pro hero to sneak into everyone's rooms. The last batch, though, was purely for Toshinori's enjoyment, because feeding his partner and seeing him happy was one of the greatest pleasures in his life. A pleasure he'd never seen himself wanting, let alone having.
Ah, here they come! Get your birdie poppers ready!
But Kokenon omedetou gozaimasu! As they walked through the parted paper-paneled bamboo shoji doors and into the wide chamber, under a cascade of confetti, well, oh, look at him blushing. Toji-san, look this way, say cheese. He couldn't ask for anything more. Hey, look! Here goes your food! Oh, it smells amazing! He was perfectly content. The feast was probably far less formal than what the resort staff had been expecting, and as he watched Spinner get up to dutifully take Dabi's sushi platter in a fair trade for the gecko-quirked young man's steak, he couldn't help but indulge in the shared levity the group was creating. Tama-chan, here I saved my tempura prawns for you. What? Never, you took it to me! He'd even allowed himself 1 cup of junmai sake before helping himself to the non-alcoholic iced teas the kids were enjoying. Shouta-kun, would you like some more soy sauce? I barely touched mine, see? Thank you, Mirio-senpai. And though you can have my umeboshi if you'd like. Mimi-chan and her girls were in high spirits.
Oh, Kiki, we should sing that song from the old country, you know, the one we sang at your wedding.
No, So-chan thinks no sake would be better. His care center siblings were enjoying the food and banter, all 4 of them beyond pleased to be part of the wider extended family. Oh, Gotcha, look! There's all my those designs on the trees! They're limited edition too! Oi, Ji-san! Do we get to keep these? The kids and their blood relatives were similarly jovial too. Tsuyu was being fawned over, and just as the mothers seemed to have formed a little club, the fathers had made firm friends as well. Bakugo-san, here, have another cup of junmai, won't you? Oh, come, Nari-san, you're too kind. Ne, Uraraka, here's to you and that great park you helped to build by the youth center. That's a first-rate work, you know. Oh, and the stuff you made for at the school you work for, that's truly amazing. You're too kind, Billy. It was great to get out there and make something good for the kids. Oh, the kids. Looks like the hero thing is still in style, don't it? The sake seemed to be cementing their ties to each other, at any rate, and as he enjoyed his meal, indulged in pleasant conversations, and watched everyone he cared about laugh, sing, and make merry, he knew that he'd made the right decision all those years ago.
This is a life. Mimi-chan, Miko-chan, you'll be coming with us to the spa tomorrow, right? I'm going to have a seaweed wrap and a mud bath.
Mitsuki-senpai, you already look so young. You better be careful or people will start mistaking you for Katsuki's sister.
You adorable girl. I'm adopting you as my daughter right now. You have my son's eyes after all.
Then I'm adopting Tomo-chan and Nomori-chan. They could easily be my daughters, don't you think? I can happily see them with you, In-chan. And I would love to have Ryuko-chan, of course. She and Rumi-chan have been so wonderful with Fuyumi and my boys. And speaking of the spa, did you see that oat milk bath they offer? I've never heard of such a thing, but it sounds so wonderful. With any luck, we'll all look as young as me-chan, eh? The decision to return to the backwaters of Musutapu, open up a cafe, and open up his heart.
Where is Atsuhiro-san going?
He just looked me dead in the eye, told me he had a mission, and left.
That sounds kind of kinky, but no, Masa. Sansa is not allowed to drink anymore.
How could he have ever known that his heart would become so full?
Shouta-kun, I've saved my last piece of ill fortune, may I? It is considered incredibly rude to eat food from someone else's chopsticks, you know. Oh, come on, nibble little. What were you saying earlier about silly traditions? Ah, touche.
It was almost too good to be true. As the guards came to collect him for his 5 o'clock breakfast, Shigaraki couldn't help but feel a little.
You have 15 minutes to eat before you're taken to the exercise yard. Nee, Hachi-san, don't you ever get sick of repeating yourself,
Somber.
You know the rules, sir. We have to instruct you each day to meet our fairness and equality policies, as much as we might not want to. You poor dears. I certainly hope that you'll get a pay rise for all of your inconveniences in due course.
Oh, yes. He'd made quite the comfortable little holiday home here in these past few years, hadn't he? Sure, the decor was inelegant, the guards humorless, and the 3 paltry meals he was provided didn't meet his descending standards, but it was impeccably clean, and for the most part,
Oh, thank you.
he'd been left entirely alone. Alone to oversee dear Garaki's labors, to ensure that he could keep an eye on the Nomu and Gigantomachia as they toiled and labored for his new vision, and alone to dream up and enjoy what he'd come to see as a beneficial new enterprise.
You're quite welcome, I'm sure,
he replied demurely as he walked down the stark CCTV camera-littered hallway. For the last time. It was so hard to keep the smile from stretching his lips, really.
Oh, and Aizawa-san had a courier drop off something for you to eat today. Do you want it now?
Oh,
Why, I would dearly enjoy that.
thank you. Just when he didn't think that this day could get any better, dear Shouta had even thought enough about him to ensure he had something delicious to enjoy on this, Yagi's birthday and the day of their wedding. Oh, what a darling boy he was. So sweet. He'd be sure to thank him properly when he saw him later, when he shared his plans with him on that cedar-encrusted island that oh my no loved so much. It was a shame, really, that the affable eatery owner was so attached to that oaf, wasn't it? However, he couldn't begrudge him his happiness. He liked that contented gleam in the other's eye. He enjoyed watching him live the life he treasured, and for all of the hatred he'd once felt, as he took his seat at his assigned table, he couldn't help but let it die. He was much too old for such tawdry grudges, wasn't he? Oh, yes. He'd endeavor to put such childish idiosyncrasies behind him and focus on creating what he wanted in a way far more logical, far more rational than any of the ways he'd previously attempted. It'd be a petty, silly, and petulant thing to want to destroy the man who'd shown him a new path and a better approach, wouldn't it? This, of course, meant that Toshinori would have to be spared, too. Him and those children and the others who saw the Noroneko Cafe as a haven, he'd not robbed them of that. Not for now, at least.
Here's your breakfast, Shigaraki. Do you want the pie split in half, or I'm certain that I can enjoy it all in one sitting. Thank you for all the same, he answered merrily, with a polite incline of his head. Mixed berry pie was a far better breakfast than the slappy fish porridge he was usually given, wasn't it? Smirking to himself, he ate another mouth-watering forkful and sighed wistfully. Today was going to be a big day, and as he observed the Spartan cafeteria, its 5 inmates, the guards, windowless walls, and overly observant scanners, he felt his smile grow wider still. He needed to keep his strength up for this afternoon, wouldn't he?